You mentioned Rob Berzinski. I want to come back and have you talk about him since he's going to be running this draft and what experience is there. So come on back to Vikings territory breakdown, and we'll chat about it. All right, folks, welcome back to Vikings territory breakdown with Mark Craig from the Star Tribune. Mark, we're talking about the exit of Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah as the GM of the Vikings, and what's been reported. They don't have another GM in yet, and they're not just going to, snap, bang, and hire one tomorrow. So cap guru Rob Berzinski is going to run the draft. Tell me what you know about him, and what are you comfortable with that? Is that a fine thing or what? I know he's a good guy and he's a cap genius, but it's a little surprising that all of a sudden he's going to run the draft. But go ahead.
Yeah, we will say, let's put one last bow on Kwesi. I wanted to say that the irony of maybe one of the worst GMs in franchise history, his crowning moment is drafting one of the best kickers in franchise in a tortured history of kickers in this franchise. He brought you Will Reichert, an all-pro guy at 24 years of age. So I guess we will have to put that in his little film. Rob is I'm comfortable with Rob running the draft because while Spielman didn't always have the best drafts, Spielman had a system that Rob was essential in. And Spielman, say what you want about his picks and everything, but Spielman was a leader of a department. Spielman was a guy that was respected by all those people. Rob was as much his right hand man as anybody. And, they had a system on draft day when, working the phone. He, George Payton, and Rob were the three guys that really worked the draft, when it came to, calling for trades, accepting calls for trades. Now, everyone has their system, I understand. But Rob's also a guy that I feel comfortable with in free agency, being the guy that can get on the phone and have the respect of a 20, he's been here 25, 26 years. And before here, he was in Miami. So he's a longtime NFL guy with the relationships that I feel like, let's put it this way. If you're looking for an Adam, if you say you need a receiver and Rob Berzinski was on the phone, I don't think that in running the show, I don't think that Carolina is able to steal a 4th round pick from Rob that they stole from Kwesi. And I have to believe that whenever they got that deal done, they were like, what? Some of the other people were probably, Carolina saw Kwesi coming, as far as I'm concerned.
He really didn't value draft capital as much as maybe other GMs. Wouldn't you say that?
Well, I don't know.
Because he gave
when we regurgitated the Jimmy Johnson, granted, Jimmy Johnson chart is 30 years old now, or at least 30 years old. And then that was spit back to him back when they made that trade with Detroit. It was just such a condescending, that's yesterday. That no longer applies. I wouldn't say he didn't value draft picks. I just feel that because he did to get the left tackle that they got midseason last year. Drawing a blank on his name, Cam Robinson. For a low round pick, I thought that was good scrambling. When they got the Pastronaut, the quarterback, it worked for 2 games. Relatively low resources involved in that. So it's not everything wasn't bad. Like Mark Wilf said, it's not just one move. And I said my feeling was it was closer to every other move than it was only one move. But he did do some good things. But I feel that Rob is a good guy. I don't know that when we were at, talking to interviewing Mark Wilf, and, he didn't rule out the fact that Rob could be the guy, going forward. I think that, and if I'm Rob, because Rob survived everything,
right?
If I'm Rob and I don't want to move, and, making the bad deals work, you can keep your job, making them work financially, you keep your job. If you make the move that's bad, then you lose your job. So Rob has been a survivor through everything. He goes back to 1999.